Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sideline Eye podcast. We're here for our first club review show of the year, looking back at the first round of fixtures from the weekend. As always, this podcast is brought to you in association with McKeever Teamwear, proud suppliers of all Armagh GA merchandise. I'm very happy to welcome on Tommy Coleman, former Clonerne manager, who of course led the Lurgan men to the promised land last year and got their hands on the Jerry Fagan Cup. Tommy, we're here to discuss all the club action. And of course, there's only one place to start, and that is with Clonerne. A huge win against Madden on the first day of the year, 3-13 to 7 points. You were at this game, Tommy. What a way to start the league campaign for Clonerne.
First of all, thanks, Sean, for having me on. And it was, we went down expecting a real tough game because over the last 2 years, when I was with Clonerne, we didn't beat Madden at all. Madden were, very strong outfit, played some great football. And yesterday at half time, things were very tight. And, we were 2 points ahead, and rightly so. We were slightly edged it. And we came out in the third quarter, so to speak, and sort of just scored 3 goals and blew it away. Played some fantastic football, real good football. And we had a whole lot of young lads in for the first time there, and it was great to see them, been at home in such great football, and just Org as well. We didn't have any of our county trio, and Shea Haffron's out at the moment as well with he went through a procedure of the hip, but hopefully he'll be back for June, and. The lads went in and filled in. It was great to see. It was good to see young Ram Meehan. He was back. That was his first game in about 3 years, and he had a solid 40 minutes or so. So he'll only improve as the season goes on as well.
And that's Clonerne's first. As you say, Madden beat you, I think, twice last year, and Madden were the ones that won 1B, and you finished second. Is that championship win from last year, Tommy, has it installed just an air confidence about Clonerne now that, they know that they're the best team in the county, or that on last year's experience anyway, to go and face Madden away on the opening day, it's not an easy game to start the season.
Oh, no, it's not. It was a very difficult game, and we're going to grow up hoping for the best, especially without the lads there. And yes, there could be some truth in it. Maybe we have took a wee bit of confidence out of it this year. We don't know, only time will tell as we go along. It's early days, and as the saying goes, one swallow doesn't make a summer. But you can only be impressed with them yesterday, and some of the boys, you could see that they grew in stature. Colin Campbell was a mentor in the middle of the field again, and Jack Conlon, who came on irregularly and done the business for us last year, went in from the start yesterday and was superb the whole game, and probably he would have been man of the match. He gave an awesome display of centre half forward play.
And Tommy, as I said, you were at that game as a supporter. What sort of supporter are you now that you're off the sideline?
Oh, it was great. It was great. It was a totally different thing there. But to see the lads and to see them perform that well, and you're able to stand there and watch it, and you can probably even see more of the game. If anything, it's just not intense around you. But it was nice there, but it was, it's a wee bit there saying, yes, we'd love to be there as well. But, it's time to move on. And the lads that's in there now are great lads, like Ray Lavery and his team, Donny and Benji and Stevie. They're all great Clonerne men, they're all very knowledgeable, all young, a lot younger than what I am, and be able to maybe give, hopefully, they'll be able to bring home an RGI Fagan in the not too distant future.
On the 3 goals you mentioned, Tommy, they all came after half time, and I think it was a tight game. They were obviously the turning point. The 3 goals from, I think it was Dan McCarthy, Conor McConville, and Aidan McConville got the 3 goals.
Yeah. They came through. Just we sort of hit them on the counter. We got up and we were able. Madden was on the attack. We were able to turn them over, and we went right through them, and the boys were absolutely flying. And I think that's credit to them after the season that they had last year. To be going on so long and then to still be able to have that that fitness and that their level of football in them still. And only a few months later on, the speed of it was brilliant. And then once they got the first goal, then they opened it up and it got Madden. Madden then had to come at them more. Once Madden came at them, they were able to overturn them, and when they hit them on the counter, they couldn't handle them at all. And the truth was told, Sean, they could have had a few scores more, could have had another couple of goals,
And defensively, Tommy, obviously the goals were the big turning point. They held Madden to just 2 points in that second half as well.
Yeah, that's right. They were very, very well compact. They dropped back off, filled the spaces in well. And as I said, when they were able to turn them over, then they were able to go at pace, and Madden couldn't handle them going forward. They just came forwards and threes and fours, and they were able to pick off the scores nicely. It was great opening.
And that puts Clonard on top of the league on score difference, obviously, having the biggest win in Division 1A. Second is the Harps. They beat Mahari yesterday, 113 to 5 points. And I suppose this was a tale of a team missing men, and Mahari were down their county men. The Laveries didn't play. Stephen Cusack didn't play. And the Harps, while they weren't full strength, they had the backbone of their championship winning team from 2017, the likes of Joe McElroy, Charlie Vernon, Minnie McShane, Jackie McKenna, all available. So the scoreline might have shocked people, but once you've seen the two contrasting teams, it maybe wasn't that much of a surprise that the Harps were pulling up really when they won this game.
No, it was no. I wouldn't have been surprised at all with that one. I've said in the previous interview we were talking about it. We think Harps wouldn't be, as the league goes here, with having the full complement of players. There's no reason why they won't be at the top end of this year and challenging for the honours. In Division 1. Mahari, got off the bad start last year too, but when then we were able to get the boys back, they'll sort of try and they'll take their time, they'll pick and they'll get themselves right for the championship again. That's where they'll want to be. They'll pick up points somewhere along the line where they get going, where they'll get James and David back, and along with Staffy, they'll make a big, huge difference. And then the county men come back in after that there, it'll be a totally different team, So I wouldn't read too much into Mahari's form, what way it'll go, but I think that they'll be happy enough. If they finish sixth in the league, they'll be happy enough. As long as they're coming in fresh and ready for the championship, that'll be their main aim, Sean,
And I suppose with the Harps, Tommy, they're maybe lucky in a way that every club wants to have a county man and somebody on the county, but they have no county men. Charlie's retired, obviously. Joe stepped away a couple of years ago. Tom O'Keefe, he was on it last year. He's injured at the minute. He didn't play yesterday, but barring injuries, and every team's going to have a few injuries, they're going to have a full team to pick from every week.
That's what I'm saying. They said they'll have their full complement of players, and I think that they'll be favourites to win that league. They're a good outfit. They have everybody there. So they're strong contenders for even not only just a league but for championship honours. And it's a great chance for many of them, to get their format and to blood a few players through to have them ready in case of injuries for the championship, so that everybody knows their system and what way they want to play. And I think the Harps are in a very, very good, a very, very strong place this year.
On the Harps, as I mentioned, I just want to give a special mention to Joe McElroy. He was amazing yesterday, Tommy, and I know, okay, Mahari weren't full strength. He wasn't maybe up against a full strength Mahari team, but Joe McElroy showing why he was on the county there for a couple of years. And I suppose Charlie Vernon deserves a mention too. He retired in 2019, and this is going to be his first full run on a club season because of the restrictions and COVID and everything. So having them men available, the Harps, they're just going to be in a strong position for the rest of the league, barring any injuries.
That's what I said, barring any injuries at all. And even if they do, you want to pick up an odd one here and there. Like the won the minor championship last year. So there's a few lads there ready to come in and get blooded as well. And that's what I'm saying. Like, Benny by using this here league campaign and picking us matches and maybe giving Charlie and them a rest, one or two of them a rest here and there, keeping them fresh and keeping them ready for the championship, and looking some of them young lads from the minor team last year, young Grimley and them who's around the middle, had a phenomenal season for them at minor level. So I would expect them, to really, really push on this year. they've been looking at the championship as this could be a year for them. I think if anything, us winning the championship last year has probably inspired a lot of teams, and said, look, if Clonard can go and do this, there's no reason why we can't. And it's just, I suppose, about acknowledging the lack of Joe and Charlie and the older lads, so that when championship time comes along, that they're fresh and ready to go.
And moving on then to the third game yesterday, Cross and Grainmore. I suppose from a Grainmore point of view, there's probably no more difficult a place to go to than Crossmaglen on the opening day of the league. And I know, again, missing men, but Cross still fielded a fairly strong team, the likes of Paul Hughes, Aaron Kiernan and Cian McConville, all still available.
Yeah, it's Cross. We looked at, they had a right few of the boys that played against started in the final last year against us. And they had a very, very, very strong right foot out. Grainmore sort of in the position of Harps. I'm interested to see what way they go and what way the season goes for them. The new management team in there as well, Sean, Michael McLean, and they'll need a wee bit of time just to put their stamp on what they want to do and what way they want the game to be played. So, Grainmore, I suppose, they'll be disappointed enough that they didn't win, but they're only 2 points away, and as I said, they're only setting up. They're only finding their feet with their new management team, and Grainmore could be. I think they'll be up at the higher end of that league too, when we come to July,
And Crossmaglen, don't want to start previewing next weekend, Tommy, but that's we'll have to mention that they're playing Clonard, a repeat of last September or October, I think it was. Both teams obviously not at full strength, but Clonard getting Cross at home, this is going to be a game they want to win.
Yeah, well, two teams that want to go and they want to get a result there. It'll be they want to set down a marker. Here we are, and this is what we're going to go this year. Cross will be they have a champion at the bit. After losing 2 finals in a row, the last time that happened was back in the 1940s. So they were going out and they were looking at Clonard as upstarts, and they'll want to do a job on them in their home patch. But at the same time, Clonard said, we were looking to make Clonard a fortress. Try and win our home matches, and whatever you pick up away from home is always a bonus in the league. So, yeah, there's a lot to that there match, and it'll be a lot of interested people to come to watch that one, because it could set the stall out to see where things are later on in the year, quite definitely. But yeah, Clonard came through yesterday, and don't seem to have any more, no more injuries, so it'll be close to the team that played yesterday. And is the way things are going there with the county and stuff, I can't see any other county boys playing, so I don't know whether like Cian will be able to get away next week or not and play. So he could be brought in, into the mix for the Donegal game. I can't see many more matches that are for them boys before the county game, the end of the month.
And just to finish up on Division 1A, then it was Dromintee and Cleavey. Dromintee, obviously the league winners last year. They'd be happy enough with a point at home. The teams drew, Tommy, 0-9 to 0-9. Dromintee, a few retirements and a few injuries as well. I think they'd be happy with that first round getting a draw.
Oh, I think you get anything out of your first game, you're content enough. What you don't want to be doing is getting lagging behind and getting nothing out of your first 2 or 3 games. Dromintee will be happy enough. Cleavey are a good up and coming side. Watched them last year in the championship, and I have to say, of all teams, I was really, really impressed with them, and I felt that they would have pushed on a wee bit more, and but a wee bit braver that day with their forward play, because they'd won plenty of possession defensively, and if they'd have moved the ball a bit quicker and had that wee bit more belief in themselves, I think they could have maybe pushed on that day and beaten the Cross. So they're a very, very good side. They have a couple of county players there as well. I don't know why they played yesterday or not. I didn't see anything on the report, but 0-9 to 0-9 would suggest to me that the two of them were set up really very well defensively, and they're always hard to crack down. Especially going to Dromintee is always a hard match, and then Dromintee and Cleavey, that's a real derby battle too. So there's never going to be a whole lot in that one. So probably both teams will come away happy enough. No boasting around the parshes there.
And we'll move on to 1B then. Tell me, the Grange were huge winners over Carrickcruppen, 5-12
Yeah.
to 5 points. And I suppose for Carrickcruppen, it just shows the gap. They've come from 2B straight up into 1B, and they've jumped 2 grades there. And while they were amazing winning the intermediate championship last year, it's just Granger a season. They've been up there 2 or 3 years now. They know what it's all about in 1B, and it was a massive jump for Carrickcruppen.
It was a massive jump for them. It's one of the teams that I was looking forward to see how much they maybe would have progressed and how much they would have entered. They're a good, young, strong, physical, everything. I thought of all the attributes to do well in this division. Grange came up, they won it from 2B as well. They won the intermediate 2 years ago from 2B and came up and did an Australian job and held their own in 1B. And that's a massive win for them. That actually was one that surprised me. I wasn't a bit surprised with Grange winning, but by that manner, that's a big win, and Barry will have his work cut out, giving them young lads a bit of getting them to get lifted again for the next game. 1B it's I know myself how difficult it is. We were there last year, and some cracking teams in it, and it's not easy. You go into Grange, it's not easy. Grange, well, look, even there's Cullyhanna. Cullyhanna do match there yesterday, but you take them, you put Aidan Ross and
Jason Duffy,
Nugent and Duffy, Jason Duffy, and that there forward line. Geez, that makes an awful difference to the lack of Cullyhanna. So you're up against them, their teams, and not their 1B. It's a tough assignment in there.
And just on forward lines, I suppose the Grange have as good a forward line as you're going to see in 1B. The McKenna brothers would probably walk into any team and Ben Toll, and that's without Ethan Rafferty and Justin Cairns as well. I
know that's what I said. I'm just going to say that Justin Cairns is look, we couldn't handle him at all last year in the championship. He was absolutely superb, and the two McKennas and Toll, when they're all them boys are all there and they're all fit. They're a good outfit. There's no doubt about it. And as you said, Ethan goes back into there and Justin goes into there. Like they'll be hard to deal with and out there and having football. They will indeed. And Ronan McAllittons this year, Ronan Hill, they've not had a chance. He's very astute to detail, so he'll do a core job there. Yeah.
And I think Carrickcruppen have a big break now. I think they've a bye, they've the Easter break, then the Armagh match, the break that weekend. So I think it's a couple of weeks to Carrickcruppen. So maybe they don't mind getting that first game out of the road. They can get a 2 or 3 week block of training and get ready for their next game then.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's what that will do, because I watch them and I was excited about them because I tell you, I think that I think they're a real good side, and hopefully this year things just didn't go for them on the day and they're able to rally back up round and play the football that was seen from them last year and then they made the championship. I really rate them. There's a couple of great forwards, young Woods and young Kelly were very very, very good. So we'll just have to see what way Barry can get them going again. But as you said, 3 weeks is a good period, and maybe get a friendly in somewhere along the line, and that'll do them the world of good.
And Sarsfields and Silverbridge. Sarsfields obviously coming up as well. They won 2A last year, but there'd been more seasoned campaigners that have played senior football, that have played in the senior championship for Sarsfields. And just to mention Thomas McAllinney, he was the game winner. He scored 2-4 yesterday. Yeah,
that's Brian's lad. Yeah, it's a good win for Sarsfields. Brenton Hughes is with him there. Brenton knows his stuff as well, and Silverbridge are always tough opponents. At their league, when you look at the Silverbridge, they would have been without Jordy Oak yesterday. They've put up, that's a poor place to go to. We put up that their score and only get beat by the one goal. But Thomas McAllinney, Thomas hadn't been well there for a while, and come back and they get 2-4 on the sheets. Just an incredible performance. And we've got them McGones out there, good lads as well, good players, and they'll be confident enough of doing a good job in 1B, and hopefully they'll be looking to finish at the higher end of it. So they will.
I think we sort of expect that with Sarsfields now. Like, although they were in the intermediate last year and obviously disappointed that they didn't win the intermediate championship. Once they come back up into senior, you know that it's such a difficult place to have to go to, and it's a tough place to get points. Is Sarsfields?
It always has been. So this over the years, and they've always had great players there, and always played a great style of football, and it moved the ball very, very quick. And I could say, I could say I think they'll be one of the teams that will finish at the higher end of the table. And I don't think there's be 3 going down out that this year, Sean, will there?
Yeah, there's three relegation spots.
3 going. I don't think Sarsfields will be one of them. I think they're a good side, and they'll get that is a good win and a good start, and that's what it's all about. And if you can get 2 or 3 notched on, that takes the pressure off you and allows you to play the good football. Whereas if you're at the other end of the spectrum and you've lost 2 or 3, when you start chasing games and then the panic sets in, you can find yourself at the wrong end of it. And especially with 3 going down there, like it's a tough division. So it is. And Cullyhanna, you look Cullyhanna, mate, for the players that they have, could maybe struggle for big parts of the league until they get them 3 boys back, and depending when they get them back, would they be able to pull the gap back to save themselves or not? You just don't know.
I think 1B is possibly, because of the 3 relegation spots, it's possibly the most exciting, because all 9 teams look at the start of it to be fairly even, and Carrickruppen maybe have thrown a spanner into the works now that maybe they're just shy of that level, but they're a young team and they're a young incumbent team, and will know further down the line whether they're at this level or not.
Yeah, but the first day, they're probably going out and they've been nervous. And Grange is no easy place to go to, but you're right. But the results is going. You've the Clans and Mullabond there yesterday. The Clans were winning yesterday, and just hopefully that. I think by all accounts, the young fella's doing well now, and he's home. There was a bad injury there yesterday, Sean, and the game had to get abandoned. But we take Clans, Mullabond, all these things. That is going to be. It's anybody in any given day could beat anybody in that. Just who's on their day, and is you're right. But hopefully, Croppin on that their performance yesterday, they will have to improve if they're not going to be one of the 3.
And hopefully, as I say, best wishes to the guy who picked up the bad injury yesterday. Yeah. That's not something that any of us want to see, a game having to be abandoned, and I assume it's going to be rearranged. But best wishes to him on a speedy recovery. Tell me, we'll move on to the intermediate. I suppose the big story or the big victory yesterday was Shane O'Neill's 5-11 to White Cross. White Cross is 110, and what probably makes it all the more appealing was that they were actually a point down at half time, and they come out and they got 4 goals. I think Matthew Gervin got 2 goals after half time. So huge comeback from Shane O'Neill's, and they're one of the top teams in Division 2A. Yeah,
I thought Shane's, that's another intense league, just with them 7 teams. It's mind-boggling what anybody, again, the team standards that's in there. But I thought Shane's, without the 3 lads, would find it tight enough. But that's a phenomenal win. To turn around and just play the way they played in the second half there yesterday. They get the win against White Cross. White Cross, they've been hanging in that division there this last 2 or 3 years. They've always just done enough to stay there, So they'll be fighting again. But Shane O'Neill's, for me, has to be one of the favourites once the M3 lads come back in. They'll win that intermediate championship this year, and they'll be looking to come out of that there into senior football. But it's 2 Mackins and Craig and Cabe. God, what a difference that make. And to win a game without them lads, it says the squad must be strong. It has to be a strong squad.
And then I think St. Peter's and Wolfe Tones, the All Lurgan derby of the day. This must have been a tight game as well. Tommy 9-7. I think the Tones got off to a great start. They were 4-1 ahead, and St. Peter started to reel them in then, and obviously pushed on in the second half to win by 2 points.
Yeah, the Peters, it was a bit of a war of attrition. This one, it was the 2 defensive teams set out very, very defensively. Tones had taken the lead the Peters came back at them. And then the Tones, by all accounts, missed 4 or 5 chances at the end to win the match. So there was nothing really in it. I think it was a phenomenal performance by Aaron Fenton. He dropped back right into the full back line, who kept the Peters in it. And it was a good performance from the Tones, considering that they've come back up from 2B. But again, these derby matches, there's never going to be a whole lot in them, especially in and around Lurgan. The form back sort of goes out the window, and the two teams there went at it yesterday, and it's great. We've also got Ding in this. St Paul's is also in this group when they play, so there's not going to be a whole lot in it between them and their teams, But as I said, 9-7 sort of tells a story about how defensive the two teams were set up, and I suppose I'm more afraid of losing it than going and winning it.
And I suppose the Tones, tell me, probably going to be happy enough for that start, because there was 2 grades separated these teams last year, a bit like Grange and Caircruppen. The Tones are coming up from 2B while St Peters went down from 1B. So while they didn't win, they competed with a team that were 2 grades above them last year.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Peter Nugent will be happy enough, I mean, not be happy that he lost, but he'll be happy enough that, he's getting them set up, and he's going to put them in the way, get them to play. Again, he's only in there now, and he has to put his imprint on what way he wants them to play. There's no doubt in my mind, and look at the job that he done at the Grange, and he had brought Grange from 2B right into 1B, and he was actually the man that kept them in there. Done a phenomenal job with them. And there's no reason why he can't jump from 2B up into 1 or 2B into 2A and compete with anybody coming down. He would have a good handle on the Peters and what way they play. But once he gets his mark and he gets it established and gets a few games under his belt, and the Tones knows what way they want to really, really play, they'll be hard enough to deal with in that Division 2.
And Tullysarn, they were the last winners in Division 2A. They beat Donegal 14-8. Probably not a huge win, but going by reports, I think Tullysarn were by far the better team and deserved their 6-point victory.
Tullysarn's a great club. Had a great day. Had a spell up there. Some fantastic footballers there. Eddie Mullen, Gabby Conlon, Owen Daly. And then young Mark McKeever's come in from the time he was there. I don't know. I think BK may be away. BK was staunch as centre half back for them, and if he's away, he will be missed at some period during the year. But Tullysarn are great football side. Play some great footballers. Play a great pace, and were very hard to beat in Tullysarn. Alec Moore, Gavin Gilly's still there, knocking about with them. They've done so well with such a limited panel of players to stay in 1B as long as they did, and they've taken the drop there this year. But I tell you, when you go to Alec Moore, it's a difficult place to get a win, and so Gavin will have them set up hard, and they'll be difficult enough opponents for anybody going there, and not be easy there. So they'll be setting their stall out there, but. Tullysarn is one of the better sides in this year league. They're great forwards, and when you've good forwards, you're always in a great chance of winning.
I think Tullysarn, they've been sort of knocking at the door for the last couple of years, and them boys missing now this year might just hinder them. But as you say, class players in their team and brilliant forwards. We keep going back to the forwards, tell me, but it's forwards that win the games.
It's forwards that wins the game, yeah. It's no good. Gary Conlon, Eddie Mullen, super players. Young McKeever, super player. But you're right. Owen Daly's an off great footballer. He's come on leaps and bounds. But BK, if he's not back, I don't know what the situation is, but he was a driving force from centre half back for them, and he'll be very, very hard to replace. And it's seeing that a couple of our young fellas made their debut there yesterday. Sort of follow them. I would read about them a bit, and they've went in and they've seemed to have done well yesterday. So hopefully they can keep it going. And always, it's one of the wee clubs that I always look out for and hope do well, to tell you the truth. A great affinity for them, so I have. And hopefully hopefully they'll be up the right end as well.
And then Division 2B, Tom, I suppose the talking point here is the two junior teams that come up from last year, Ballick and Crossmaglen seconds, both getting wins on the opening day of the season. Ballick beat Katie 112-19 and Cross beat Ballyhagan 1-9 to 5 points. So I suppose the top teams in the junior division would always sort of feel that they're an even, standing with Division 2B, that they could, compete at that and throw in the likes of a Derry Noose or a Rogue, that would be at the top of the junior division, you'd imagine this year. That sort of proves that Ballick and Crossmaglen have pushed on this year and got great wins at the opening day of the season.
Yeah, but Cross has been sort of up and down there this last few years anyway, Sean. So they're always thereabouts, and they're up and they're down sort of at the yo-yo system, so to speak. But they're always hard. It depends what way, I suppose, just who's out for them on that their day. But they're always difficult. Look, that was a good win in Ballyhagan. It was one. It was a 9-point win. Like it's a big 7-point win, wasn't it? That's what it's big margins there. And Ballyhagan was always done well in that league. It was always held their own there. So Cross maybe an all one to watch. They had a good season last year in the league, and they just failed in the championship to do the double. So I'm sure that's where we're looking to go. It was to win the junior, but they would have enough. And Blake had a tremendous year last year. And just the same, maybe it built on the momentum of that there. And that was a good win against Katie. Katie's always a tough side there, and the beat down in that there division. I can mind playing them when it was with Tully Sorn, and how hard, how difficult it was. Paul Doyle was with them at the time, and they were flying, and they have some great footballers in the round there, Katie. So that was a great win for Ballick. So to batch up their code at both them teams, so they'll do okay up there. It'll be very competitive to watch. And then Turn and Oak, they're up the end. They've won yesterday as well. Now they've come down. They come down from 2A into 2B. So they're sort of looking to reform and to try to get a few young players through. And I suppose they would hope to finish at the top end of that there, if not go back up into 2A.
I think that was a good win for Tierno against Clonmore, 13-8. As you say, a couple of young players. I think they won the Division 2 championship last year, Division 2 minor championship. So trying to blood them new boys into this team, and as you say, push on then and get to the top of Division 2B and push on for promotion.
Yeah, that's where they want to be. They want to get back up and try and get back up into 2A, because the better the teams you play, the more to do good for them young fellas. You don't want to bring them up maybe too quick. But Clonmore's always a side that's difficult. They always make it difficult for you. I remember going down there with Tully Sorn and a few times there, and we got our fill down there, to tell you the truth. And Tully Sorn wasn't a bad side. You're Brandon Donaghy and them lads all playing. It was they can put it up there. But that's a good win for Turnerlock. And again, that's another wee bit of a derby. And to win it by 5 points is, for a derby game, sort of comfortable enough for them. So, they may have poured it down and start to head in the right direction. And for a club of its size, when we're situated, it should be pushing on, and should be at least up there into the 2A, not pushing on into senior level.
And just the junior, then tell me as well. I suppose our Ogue beat Mullabrack 6-7 to 1-4, and I've seen a couple of pictures of our Ogue on Facebook. Their whole back six was made up of 3 sets of brothers. So I'm not sure who they were. I didn't find out names, but an interesting dynamic for the opening day of the season, that there was 3 sets of brothers made up the defence.
Well, it's McCluskey's were there anyway. McCluskey's and the McGraths and the Rands. Well, both the Rands playing or not? The 2 brothers, but I just noticed that Daniel Rand was playing again. Daniel Rand's an absolute class footballer. He is, he has been playing. He's been in and out of the team for different reasons. He was playing soccer for a while, and then he couldn't play because of work commitments, and he's back in again. But they get a year out of Daniel Rand at junior football. I would expect Earl to come straight out of that. He is a phenomenal footballer. Them 2 young McCluskeys are very, very good players as well. Roy Roy and Jamie McGrath's been about there forever. Players bringing loads of experience, so they have a good mixture of youth and experience in there. So they came very, very close last year. They just faltered at the end of the season. They just missed out, on the promotion. So I think this year could be, the two good lads, two club men back in there managing again, Marty McCleary and Marty Hoey, and I think they're real contenders for topping that junior division.
And there were 2 draws in the junior division as well. St Michael's Newtown 0-9, Derrynews 1-6, as well as Middletown on the someone drew list. Someone got 15 points and Middletown 112. And I think, Tommy, Middletown were happy enough for that. I know half their team were playing for the Armagh Hurlers in the league final on Sunday and didn't play, or on Saturday rather, and didn't play in that game. So to be missing, we're talking about the county boys that are all the county footballers. Middletown have all these county hurlers, obviously, so they're feeling the impact as well. But they'll be happy with a draw when you're missing so much men.
Oh, they'll be over the moon, and and you're right. Middletown have everybody there. They're a good side. They're quite capable of, to me, they're a good intermediate team if everybody's about, never mind junior. And it's just with the hurling and the commitments and, small enough boys, and the boys are trying to do, dual players and playing with their county as well. Something has to give somewhere along the line. But they're, when they get everybody out, they're no gimme for anybody. And they have Gaffleys and them boys, they're all good, they're good players. And we have come up again, as I said before, myself in the championship, and just got over the line and no more. But it's a different story when all the hurlers are there. But hopefully, they say they can be able to get the thing balanced, and it'd be nice to see them go back up again too.
And a couple of other results then in the junior division. O'Hanlon's 110, Thomas Davis 112. You had Portmore beating Clady by a point, 12-11. And the highest scoring game of the weekend, Tommy, was in the junior division. Dorsey 312, Clevey 211. And as everybody listening in knows, we weren't at a lot of these games, but to score 320 for Dorsey, it tells the tale. We were speaking about a couple of games that were low scoring. You didn't have to be at the game, how it played out. But to see a scoreline like that, you can see how this game went. It was obviously end to end, and it was a forward's dream. 320, some scoring for one side.
Oh, it's great. That's what Gaelic football's all about for me. To go to watch it, there are 320s, it's fantastic, isn't it? It just shows you maybe, going to games like that there, maybe you should go a bit more and watch them sort of games. 320 to 211, there's plenty of entertainment for everybody there. And obviously the two teams are going at it. And Dorsey are always up at the higher end of that junior level. When you're going to play football like that, and if you can score, at that level, you're always going to be in with a chance. There must be a couple of decent forwards there to get that there sort of score. And if you can do that there consistently, you're going to be at the right end of things.
So that's all we have. That's our first review of the opening weekend of the club leagues. We'll be back every Monday and Tuesday with podcasts, obviously covering the club leagues, as well as releasing all the results from the weekend, the league tables, match reports, previews. Number one spot is the Sideline Eye for all club action. So make sure to follow us on all our social media pages. Make sure to follow us on Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel if that's where you get your podcast. Tommy, thanks a million for coming on and discussing the opening weekend of the club leagues.
No problem, Sean. All the best.